also it's just kind of like, maybe a little dusty. This is going to hurt. I cannot tell a lie. This is probably the worst eyeshadow palette I got last year. Good morning, my beautiful friends. It's early morning for me and Cooper, and I feel like I'm gonna start something here in January. Start something new for my channel. Maybe just kind of like lean into a vibe that a lot of you have told me I give you anyway, and that's gonna be getting serotonin slayed right before we're gonna jump into an entire declutter of some eyeshadow palettes, and I'm a little anxious about that. A lot of you guys have always said you come to my channel for like a boost of happiness, and serotonin gives us that happiness. So right now we're gonna get a little serotonin slayed together. I'm gonna think bright colors. I'm thinking some vibrant colors because it is dreary January and we're all over it. We're over the cold, we're over the winter. So I'm going to combat that mentally with some amazing makeup. But first, skincare and coffee, obviously. What is serotonin slayed? Great question. Can't wait to answer that for you. Honestly, it's just a fun little like term that I coined up because I have been seeing a lot of like dopamine dressing on TikTok. I love that. I love that vibe. I feel like it really leans into a lot of the things I try to emote here on my channel. And we all love a boost of serotonin to get our day going, to make us happy, because we've all been really honestly over a lot of things. So essentially we're just gonna be putting on all of our favorite things to give us a like hit of serotonin first thing in the morning, so we start our day with the right mentality. And I love this foundation so much that I'm actually like scraping the sides of it. I just need to get another one of my Micelio foundations because I think it's so good. I've been asking you guys on my Instagram and on my community tab on YouTube, what kind of videos are you loving to see? And the good news is we are so aligned as always. You guys are wanting to see more declutters, which is actually what this video was already planning to be. But I also am loving to hear that you guys want to see some vlogs, maybe even some beach, like some of my beachy days. Oh, this foundation just hits for me every single time. Makes my skin look juicy. It makes everything come together, but it's not too thick so you can still see my freckles. I still look like me, but smoother, a little bit more even. I'm seeing Shop My Stash in here a little bit too, which is so funny because then there's other people saying, I want to see more new makeup releases or empties. Oh, some of you guys are writing in my particular favorites and fails because I always give you the full dirty details, but I haven't seen a lot of people wanting those again, or are you? I mean, the pendulum does swing back. So again, as always, friends, let me know in the comments what you are wanting to see more of in 2024. Ooh, rankings? Do you guys want to see some ranking videos? Lifestyle vlogs? Multiple people are saying they want vlogs now too. Okay, so who is going to be giving us a little bit of dopamine and serotonin for the face as far as powders go? I think I want to do a little bit more of my Lawless. And yes, I use a double powder usually, so I'm gonna jump into my CoverGirl Clean Fresh. And Cooper is over here going, are you talking to the mommies? Yes, we are talking to the mommies, Coopy. Look at that face. He's been sick. He's got a little bit of a cough. I know I've already powdered, but at this point I need a little extra serotonin, so I'm gonna jump into something with a little bit more glam. I'm gonna add a little pixie dust to my face. Give myself that little extra boost. I'm loving where the juicy skin is going, and I'm now going to jump into my favorite bronzer. This is the iconic London Ultimate Bronzing Powder. I love it. So of course we're gonna serotonin slay with her. I think I have that extra boost in my step today because last night I booked a trip for the fall and I'm so excited. I have never been to Palm Springs and I'm gonna be going on a girls trip. I am so excited. All right, this is where I'm going to need your help because we're going to be going into the eyeshadow palette drawer, and this is where the color really comes in. Okay guys, I technically have 2 drawers of eyeshadow palettes, and I'm just sitting here going, which one is going to give the serotonin today? Which one is going to give me the boost of color that I am wanting? So we have all of these babies. Cooper looks super unsure of what we're doing. This girl is always right on top because I love her so much. This is probably my favorite palette in my collection at the moment. But as we can see, she is a neutral lover's dream for Cooper and I. But we're gonna get more color in today, right? We're gonna do that boost of serotonin. Did you just wink at us? You did. You did. That was cute. Let's come down here. Okay. Oh, this is a very messy drawer. This is why I need to do a declutter, you guys. Oh, you know what I'm thinking? Okay, hold on. Let me dig her out. You guys, I don't gravitate to a lot of purples naturally, but I had so much fun playing with this gorgeous girl for the Halloween video I did where I jumped into a ton of purples. Oh, did you need something? Say hi to all the mommies. Cooper says hi. Oh, are you saying hi? Oh my goodness, what a schmoopy. He's like, I don't want to mess up mommy's makeup, but she needs kissies. Oh, what a good boy. I loved playing with this palette. I thought it was so good. The shimmers in here were great. The mattes were great. So what if we got out her and, oh, come on, come on. Her, because I haven't really used her. This could add in some of the neutrals that maybe we need here. So I'm excited. Let's just play. I have to show you guys my setup because this is what I do almost every time I'm getting ready to give myself that morning boost mentally. I set them all out and let them all be presented like beautiful babies and tell me what I'm doing. It's like going into Target. Target tells me what I'm doing. I don't tell Target what it's doing. Cooper went to go chew on a bone, and yes, I did get her out just because I might need a neutral and I want something that I love. Ooh, and I think I know where we're starting. Take a neutral shade. Yes, immediately yes. I'm needing to get dopamine dressed to get the eyes going for some inspiration. And yes, that is still one of our Christmas trees up. We love the glow. So I've been going through my closet and I'm thinking this number because one, I love the bold richness of the color and I feel like I could do like a purple or a green with this baby. So something that I did back when I lived in the Midwest when it was freezing -degree temperatures that I know a lot of you have been dealing with. Cooper doesn't even want to talk about those days because he hated them. I really would find some of my summer favorites because I love my summer wardrobe. I always have. Something I like to do is take my summer pieces and make them winter pieces to get me through because that always boosted the serotonin in my brain. So right now, we're gonna dopamine dress to finish the face because that's where I'm at right now. And I feel like that's gonna give me some extra like oomph, including the jewels. I bought this last Christmas because she's like a boss babe, but very Florida because of the sides. I'll show you. It's like we've got some business going, but its arms are technically free. And she also creates a bit of a silhouette here because I'm not my summer best yet. That's fine, we'll get there. What about a fuzzy moment? It seems excessive, but it's so fun. I wear this to a holiday party. I just have to shimmy while I'm in it. I think I might have it, guys. Yes, I have 2 closets in this house. This is so fun, and it gives me all of this I look like, oh my gosh, dress like your palette day. The jewelry can also bring a whole look together. Trust in that. So let's see, which earrings? Nobody tell me the perfect earrings don't exist because they do exist. And I own 2 different pair of something super similar because I love them. Now I'm like, do we go with orange? Do we go with purple? Let's just see where the makeup takes us. Ooh, we might be going with some orange tones today. I always just feel so much more empowered and beautiful and ready to take on life when I look my best and when I have that extra glam going. I don't know what it is, but that's just always been where I lie. We're a sunset, we're a sunrise. We are going for the gold. We have the best sunsets here, and now I feel like that's my muse that I didn't even know I needed. One of my favorite things to do is to warm up the body like it's summer, because that's one of my favorite things to do. So with a little bit of a shimmery product, I like going straight to the skin. My new secret to getting an instant hit of dopamine and serotonin for my day is to use these Impress new lashes. These require 0 glue, literally 0 glue, because there's already adhesive on them. I have worn them multiple times, including overnight, to test the 24-hour like durability wear claim, and I'm like, it works. I've slept in these. They're awesome. Guys, this could be dangerous. I usually have to be so careful with my caffeine, I'll be honest, but these long gray days, the gray days are what's killing me the most. I'm just gonna do a little touch more of caffeine. Shh, don't tell my sleep system because I'm not gonna sleep tonight. I am feeling all of the dopamine right now. I am feeling all of that serotonin slay moment because I love my makeup. I hardly ever do bold eyes, and you guys, I'm living for this look right now. So clearly these two palettes are not going to be on the chopping block because we love them. Like today's eye look is so amazing. Also, I match our palette. So that's just exciting in itself. Now I do have some other palettes though that I already have pulled aside that are really on the chopping block, but I also kind of just want to take you down into these drawers as well. Because as you guys saw last year, I did a full series on my declutters, and some things were kind of on the fence with me. Some things I knew immediately, and I'm finding that the things that were on the fence with me might be just out the door. So let's dive into this eyeshadow palette declutter and let's take you down here. So this is the top drawer. Oh, and I did not end up using any of this morning because the other stuff was so good. And clearly she is in zero danger of going anywhere. So let's just dive into what we have here. Now, I'll be honest, most of the stuff that I know for sure I'm decluttering is down here in the bottom drawer, but we'll get there in a second, and I may just have to sort through some things with you. I just have a hard time having any organization these days because there's just so much, and I'm just honestly not using some things. Some things I'm a little sentimental about. Let's come down here to the bottom drawer because I feel like I need to see where I've already started. Some stuff I didn't think I'd ever get rid of, but let's start with the pile that I've already kind of pulled aside. Let's just start with the one that I know is going to hurt the most, the Naked Urban Decay Wild West palette. So this palette is honestly sentimental to me because so many of you guys, when this got released, tagged me in it, and you're like, this is a Nichole palette. This is a Nichole palette. So many of you guys on Instagram were tagging me. And I feel like it was like a moment because I was like, oh my gosh, people recognize what I would love to review, what I love to wear. It just felt so special. But this is really not a palette I reach for, and it's not a palette I touch. And then I opened it this morning. I don't know how or when she got broken, but she's broken. I also have all of these shades and other palettes that I do reach for. It's so weird that I don't reach for this palette, but you were so right. This is something I loved when I first got it, and then I honestly haven't touched it. So I think it might be time to let this one go. I did a full $1 full face of makeup with you guys with the AOA Shop Miss A line. I love that they're cruelty free and they have a lot of great products. This is really good, and it's so good that I'm still gonna pass this on. I've just found the palettes they had available, this was the palette I knew I would like to really give it a at-bat at, but I have all these shades, and I don't find myself finding a lot of small palettes that I love a lot, that like I reach for, that I remember to reach for. So this one is really good, and I'm going to pass it on to a girlfriend because this is really nice, and I definitely recommend them. If you are a babe on a budget this year and you want something special or new, definitely check them out. This What's Up Beauty palette, I got this as, I think, a Ipsy bag, and I don't pick what comes in my PR packages, and I'm mostly just testing it for the quality, and sometimes I get a home run with the color story. This color story, even though today I went vibrant, is not something I'm going to find myself reaching for, especially being a mini. I'm going to lose it. In fact, I have lost it, forgot all about it. So I may as well also see if a girlfriend wants one of these because it's so cute and sweet, and it's little, and it's nice quality. But it's not as good a quality as some of the other stuff that I've gotten in my Ipsy box, for example, or Ipsy bag. There was another one that I saw that I really was like, oh, I don't think I can get rid of that. The Shayna B palette, it has the exact same component, essentially the exact same like pans here, but this brand I actually liked better. Now, it could be that the color story is easier for me to incorporate, but I also just liked this enough that I was like, I remember loving this, great for spring, summer looks, and I want to keep it. So it's not just because of the size sometimes. This is going to hurt. I cannot tell a lie. All right, who's been with my channel since the beginning? This will really tell. This is the IBY Beauty Mini Palette, and I swear this has been in so many declutters. I can't even believe I'm getting rid of this, honestly, other than the fact that it's just time to move on and let some old things go. This is the IBY Beauty, what is this, the Three's Company palette? Yeah, the Three's Company palette. This has been an OG palette of mine since the beginning of my channel. It was where I was truly starting my journey with understanding independent brands with great quality makeup. I fell in love with this, used it up to the pan. I think you can see it in these first two shades here. There's definitely pan in there. I love this palette, but it is so old now. It is very powdery. It's chunking apart. So it's time to let her go. And it's like, I'm just gonna remember the good times with it and pass it on. And by pass it on, I mean to the dumpster because it's old. All right, please don't get mad at me if you love this palette, and I know some of you do. Violet Voss and I have not a love-hate relationship. We have a love this doesn't work relationship. I don't know what to call it. This is the Berries and Creams Dreams palette. I've talked about this before, that I always give the, Violet Voss palettes an at-bat. And there were a few in here that I've looked at that I was like, no, I actually like that one, or this one's pretty good. This one I think is mostly the color story because of my skin tone and skin color. These types of like burgundy reds that have a little bit, I don't know, maybe more of that mauvey purple tone to it, tend to make me look sickly on the eyes. They don't look so good. I need something a little bit more vibrant, and I have a lot of these other shades in other palettes. So that's really the deciding factor for me with this. I don't reach for it. I just tend to look at this and be like, no, next. So since it's still such a fresh, nice palette, I'm going to pass this one on to a friend. So those were the things I already knew were likely going to be decluttered. I was looking this morning at my Sun-Kissed palette from Violet Voss, and I was like, you know what? This is going to be really pretty. And I think summertime, I am a beach girl. I live at the beach. These colors could be really nice with these yellows. And like I said, I needed something a little deeper to work for my skin tone. So I am keeping this. So it's not just all Violet Voss I get rid of. But as you can see, we are still looking at a mess. And honestly, my brain and my heart is like, is it time? Is it time to get rid of some of these older ColourPop palettes? Oh, maybe we should do some swatching to see. I have slowly started getting rid of some of them. It's funny. A lot of you guys may not have even been with my channel long enough to know that I lived in a legit tiny house that for like 4.5 years, that was under 400 square feet. And I had the tiniest beauty space ever. I even had a beauty room tour on my channel. So I don't tend to get tied to like physical things a lot. For me, it's a lot more sentimental in some ways because certain palettes, I already got rid of the Yes Please palette last declutter, and that was so hard. They remind me of my early journey here on my channel, but when you don't reach for something, or if you only do it once a year, does it really need to stay? And honestly, I'm always going to have the memories, and I have the videos on my channel. It's another reason that I love my channel and you guys, because I can kind of go back and reflect on things. These are some OG palettes that I first discovered with ColourPop. Element of Surprise palette, and of course I'm like, now I'm going to get more into colors because we're going to be serotonining up our face, and I'm like, look at these colors. But it's like 2017 and it's 2024 now. 7-year-old palette. And then this one over here was the You Had Me at Hello. This one's a lot more neutral, and honestly, I have so many of these shades. This one would probably be easier to let go of. Reality is I don't really touch these. I think after I do a declutter, it puts it top of my mind, so then I'll use it, and then I'm like, oh, new palette. Ooh, let's go back to this. So then I don't tend to rotate through these as much, and there's no pan on any of these, even though I used them a ton in like 2017. I have this pink anywhere. Not the same color of pink, but we have some pink. Oh, look at this. It's like a grown-up version. This one definitely has some punchy pinks into it. That's a lot punchier. I don't even like a lot of pink, but I'm just looking at this pink right now. Still swatches dang well. All right, well, maybe this one stays. This is what I do. I start touching my favorite things, which are like, I pick in obviously to the colors that make me go, ooh, serotonin, ooh, dopamine, put it on the face. And then, do I remember to use it? I did get rid of some ColourPop palettes last year. Oh, I thought I got rid of this. Deja Brew. This is probably the worst eyeshadow palette I got last year from ColourPop, which is so upsetting because ColourPop is always going to have a special place in my heart, obviously. So this one was just so, it was one of the first releases that I found at Target, grabbed it, Neutral Lover's Dream, because we were doing the clean girl effect look, and I love neutrals. Obviously, I just showed you guys earlier, my favorite palette is the Glam palette. Love her. So obviously math makes math here, and it looks like this should be another favorite. But the formula on this is just not as good as the other ColourPop shadows. So I'm gonna also go ahead and, ooh, what is it about getting rid of a ColourPop palette that hurts a little extra? I don't know what it is.
Beauty space, we're making room in the beauty drawers.
Okay, let's talk about this Smashbox palette. So cute, right? This one is obviously older, but I didn't get this until, oh, was it last year? The year before? I liked it. This came in, was it a Chic Beauty box? Something like that. And I really thought, you know what, this is great. We've got some warmer tones. We've got some cooler tones. This is nice. This was before I did get her, so we don't even need to keep talking about her. We know she's great. But I really liked the formula on this. I thought the Smashbox shadows were really nice, and they still are. I just don't find myself reaching for this palette because I have my other one that, I mean, is it essentially like the exact same shades? I think it is. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this on. In case you're wondering, I'm still making some decisions about these. These are in my thinking about it pile. Like it. Love it. Love it. So cute. Love it. Love, love. Oh, love, love, love. You have to pry this out of my cold dead hand, and it's gonna be perfect for summer. These are older, but I use them so darn much. These are Essence palettes that I can't find online anywhere anymore, so I don't even think they make them anymore. I bought these even before I think I moved into my big house. Yeah, because I fell in love with these in my tiny house. I kind of secretly wish that this was all in one big palette instead of two, just to make my life a little easier, because I find that when I do use them, I want to pull out both of them because each has something special about them that I like as far as the color shades go. The formula is great. This one is obviously cooler toned. This one is warmer toned, but they are a little something special that I don't have anywhere else in my collection, honestly. And I love my eyeshadow palette collection, as many of you know. So these are just two things that I'm going to be keeping because they're that good. And I almost wish that I didn't love them as much because they've been a staple in here for so long, but it's also just a tried and true. But I feel like I can't talk about them too much because I can't find them anywhere to link them. So just know that the Essence shadows are really good. This one, if you can ever find it somewhere, is Follow Your Heart. And this is the Be Beautiful. So they're going to be staying. Love, love, love this. This is the Transitions palette from Dominique Cosmetics. I love this palette a lot. I feel like I haven't reached for it a ton, but I still love it, and it's staying. Ooh, you guys. Okay, all right. At first glance, you're going to be like, oh, that's a Huda palette. No, it's not. This is the Miss Rose Professional Makeup palette, and it is beautiful. I mean, the packaging, beautiful. They did a good job essentially duping Huda, and look at how pretty it is. Oh, do I want to get rid of this? Ooh, I may have to think about this because this would be a fabulous February palette. Oh my goodness. Now I'm sitting here torn. I feel like I haven't given this a lot of like at-bats to know if it's worthy or good. But I kind of just wish it was a real Huda palette. You know, because it's kind of like the Miss Rose version. I got this from which subscription box? I got this from the Clever Beauty box. I have eyeshadow palettes all over the beauty room now, on the chair, on the floor. I needed to get up here so I could properly swatch these in some good sunlight because I want to see, is this going to be something I want to use for Valentine's? But I want to know how the quality is. I'm just going to go ahead and stick my fingers in here and let's see how they swatch. Swatches aren't totally the entire story of eyeshadows, as we all know, but it's still important. Ooh, these actually look pretty good. Thinking the mattes might be where they shine, but given some more pressure, the shimmers come through as well. Oof, but these are really coming through. So I think I'm gonna try this one, but it's on the like bubble. You know what I mean? Like this one could end up in a 2024 declutter. What is it about my intrusive thoughts right now that's like, touch the glitter, touch the glitter. All right, I'm gonna touch the glitter. How? In a YouTuber attempt to describe what these are like, they feel loose like when you first touch them in the pan, but you get a decent amount, and I'm scared to see what happens next, but let's just do it. Am I gravitating to a lot of glitter? Of freaking course not. But is it fun to have in the arsenal? Yeah, it is, and that's actually not bad. Is it Tati Beauty shimmers? No, but is it still pretty nice? Yeah, so I'm gonna hang on to this because I'm thinking some Valentine's Day looks maybe with this palette. While I got you up here, this palette from Dominique Cosmetics. I got this little mini, I think in a boxy charm. Also gives me all of those same vibes. It's good to know that I have something, if I decide this one needs to go, that I've got something else that I know could be really good. Ooh, I think I also have an actual Huda. Hold on. I do. Palette I was obsessed with, even though mauves aren't usually my thing, was this mini Huda Beauty Mauve Obsessions palette. Fell in love with this palette, traveled with it. So good. I might be talking myself out of this, so we shall see. I'll be honest, some things in my collection I already know are a given that I'm keeping, like my Natasha Denona minis. I may not reach for them as much as I would like to because I'm trying so many other things here on my channel and just in my day-to-day life. These palettes were like a huge moment in the BoxyCharm realm where we were getting these, I think like every other month. Like look at all of these. Now some of these I purchased myself off the BoxyCharm website back in the day in 2021. Was that right? Love these. Love them. Even though I can't tell you the last time, for example, I used this one, she's not going anywhere. She's still good. I have swatched these not that long ago. This one really stumped people. Ooh, this is another great one for Valentine's. Am I talking myself more and more out of keeping this one? I found myself a little disappointed in some of these liquid shadows. I'm gonna do some swatching. Really loved and fell in love with these Beauty Crop one, but I feel like every time I've tried to use it, something weird has happened. This is the matte shade. It looks like a lip color I would love. Over here is Fudge. Now this is like misnamed. I had big beef with this side because to me this is way more fiery, way more copper-like than a Fudge. And I feel like on top of each other, they could go okay, but it just wasn't the moment. It didn't sound right. And then it was overwhelming with the shimmer. But Cinnamon, the matte shade, I feel like does a really good job of blending. So I feel like it's a love-hate relationship with like half of the product. Isn't that such a bummer when that happens? I'm gonna hang on to this for some fiery looks because clearly it doesn't look too far off from what I'm doing today. But this one might also be on notice. And do I even remember you? This is one of those indie brands. This is Formula Z. Again, got it in a subscription box. Oh, you're a crayon. Ooh. Ooh. I almost want to go back to my video and be like, what did I think of you? Pretty yummy. Okay, we're staying. There are some palettes in here that I'm going to be pulling out for spring. I haven't really had many at-bats. Some of them I may not have had any. Hold on. Alter Ego sent me a whole bunch of palettes, and I love their Sahara palette. How do you say that word? It became genuinely one of my favorites. They're known to be an amazing Natasha Denona dupe, and this one screams the Biba palette. Everyone loves that palette, so I almost feel like I'm like getting away with something with this palette. It is so good, and it's more of the warm tones versus the cool tones that my Glam palette has, that you know I'm like, mwah, so good. So, the Coastal palette is way more cool toned and it feels very beachy, light toned, a little silver, purple, lilac moment. I have not delved into these much, but I'm specifically thinking of this palette for spring. So maybe that'll be one of my next dopamine, serotonin slay looks because this one is the Sakura palette. And look at these greens. Like look at some of these tones here. We've got some neutrals and we have like these spring colors. Definitely kind of leans into the packaging. So this is still something I want to play with. So I'm gonna hang on to these because I know that the formula is also so good. Also their Midsummer palette, see to me, I feel like the name is a little misleading. Like this is a little fall for me. The name, Midsummer. We see florals, we see peaches, we see pinks, we see oranges, green, and then I don't feel the same vibe inside of here. And that's just something for me that I noticed when I reached for eyeshadow palettes because I'm gonna see you visually and think, oh, do I want this on my face? And I'll be like, yeah. And then I open it and I'm like, wait, you're not that. So then out of sight, out of mind. But we do have some really pretty colors in here. I kind of want to touch them. Oh, look how gorgeous that is. That's when you know the dopamine is hitting. The serotonin is serotoning and look at the, Oh, I didn't even know I needed that today. Oh, we love a happy ending. While the camera charges, I bring the palettes to you, and this one popped right out at me. Subculture. I saw this palette, and when it was first dropping, I was like, yes, this is what I want. I wanted this palette before I ever wanted the Renaissance palette. Yes, I have that. Yes, I love it. No, it's not going anywhere. Don't even bother pulling it out. This one was such a scandal online, but truly, I love the color story. I think it's great. I kind of want to play with you. I want more face to put these things on because some of these things, I just look at them, I'm like, yes, why haven't I worn you lately? All right, this palette makes me feel something. I feel something every single time I wear this, and it's way more often than you would think. This was in my favorites video for 2023, and this is a throwback. This is not new. I love bringing back the things that we loved before and using them every day. I'm not just someone who can only wear something when it's popping and fresh on YouTube. This is the YouTube Chocolate Gold palette. I love this palette. I use so much of this color that I'm so glad it's the biggest bar in here. I love these neutrals, but these pops of color are so great too. So yummy. She stays. Love, love, love. Wonder Beauty palette. If you're new here, you may not know my obsession with this. Hit pan so quickly. Still love this palette. Need to find a fresh new one because I love it. The iconic London palette. This is the beachside palette. Anything with beachy in it immediately gets my attention as a beach girl, like these. Patrick Ta, no sense in even pretending. In fact, I want the new, more neutrals one. Everyone always called this one neutral. I'm like, no, it's red, it's vibrant. Now I need the more brown muted neutral tones. I need it for my collection. The Zoeva Caramel Melange palette, I've hit pan on this multiple times. I like this as a base, however, don't find myself thinking about it because if I want a neutral nude, I've not been thinking of this anymore. I did not think this might be going this way. I loved this palette for so long. That's where I get stuck sometimes, is if I've previously loved something to its core that I've hit so much pan on it, essentially its core, I have a very hard time releasing it into the wild because I have loved it and I know the quality and it still performs. I'm gonna hold on to this. But I essentially have used both of these interchangeably because they're all matte palettes. Obviously, this one has more pan on it because I had this longer. This, obviously, from Viseart is one of my favorite palettes. There's huge dips into the ones that don't have pan. This is such a staple for me. Like, when I think of mattes, truly, I think of this palette. This palette, even though it has shimmers in it, I love the mattes in here. One of my Essence palettes because I love the mattes in there. And you know what I don't think of as much as I used to is the Transitions palette with Dominique Cosmetics. Because these are, I've always thought these are similar to the Viseart, but Viseart's easier to grab, a little less options, so I don't get overwhelmed with options, whereas this one has a lot in it. It's not going anywhere. Don't panic. I can feel you panicking. Don't panic. She's not going anywhere, but I find myself not using this one as much as I used to, and that same thing could be said for this palette. We love nudes. We love mattes. We love a good, creamy, amazing formula that applies well, blends well, and lasts. And they all do that. So is it location, the reason I'm not reaching for this? Because it's further back in the drawer, not on top like this one is because it's smaller and easier to access? I don't know. But these are the things that go on in my brain when I'm thinking these things through. So you get to go down the rabbit hole with me. If you can relate, please tell me below so I don't feel so crazy. She loves to bark at corgis. I think because her ex-boyfriend was a corgi. So the Persona Identity 2 palette, one of my favorites for years, mostly because I love the mattes in here. These are really good. I've got these two up top here, some dark ones, but the shimmers are great too. I know there's an Identity 1 palette that I've had on my wish list for a long time that's way more neutrals, but I can't ever seem to let this one go too because these shimmers are good, but the matte's so good. I love the mirror. It's great for travel, a good size. I need the Identity 1. I need it. I need it in my life. So the Sunrise palette from Natasha was one of my first, it is my first Natasha Denona palette. And one of you guys lovingly sent it to me when I was going through my hysterectomy recovery. And this brought me so much joy. And this was why I felt safe to get rid of my ColourPop Yes Please palette last year, I think, the year before. I can't remember when that one went because I tried to block it out, but very similar color story, and that one was so old, this one was newer. So I mean, this one not only is Natasha, great shadows, it has so much sentimental value to me. This was my first Natasha palette, and it came from one of you to make me feel better after my hysterectomy. Zendo palette, not everybody loved from Natasha, but as we know, I'm a beach girl, so the blues can work with me. The pink tones, I'm not mad about it. I actually liked it more than some other people did. I'm gonna have to put all these palettes back. It's gonna be a nightmare. We have some ColourPop because ColourPop lives rent-free in my mind, and I love a theme. I do. So when the Hocus Pocus palette came back out the second time around, I had to have her. This is the Gather Round Sisters palette. I think she's great. She's better than some of their other collabs, I'll be honest. Unfortunately, not all ColourPop collabs are built the same. Sometimes the formula is not as so good as others, but this one is a good one, and I like the color story for fall, but also any time of year. The Misunderstood palette I got hyped for. I saw a leaked photo and I shared it with you guys, and I couldn't believe it back in the day when this was coming out. So fun, lots of vibrant colors. So this one's a fun assist palette for me because there is so many like jewel tones popping in here. I feel like it's hard to make a cohesive look alone, but she's misunderstood. So of course she's gonna feel like she has to go alone. I like to put her with other palettes so that way I get the best of all worlds. All right, I will be real with you. Some of these older palettes, I do sit here and question how much longer are they going to be good for. Something that I know is brand new and I love it, and you'll have to pry it out of my cold dead hand, is my Ofra palette. This is a mini mix palette from my dear sweet friend Yadi G. She is so amazing, such a good friend, and this is her palette that she sent to me last year, and then she tagged me in Ofra's PR listing for 2024 and really got you guys hyped to nominate me, and then I won, so I'm going to be on Ofra's PR list all year, and I'm so excited about it. And this palette is so yummy. It's so good. I'm loving these colors. I loved them when I tried them on, and I can't wait to play with them even more. This palette, I'm like, I don't know. I need to give it some more time maybe. This is the Alamar Cosmetics Destino palette. I feel like the packaging is just kind of like a waste of space for more shades. And I don't necessarily love these shades, and I have them in other ones maybe, but I feel like I've not had it too long, so I want to play with it some more. Or do I? Do I, don't I? Do I, don't I? Okay, the camera is giving sass because she got overheated. But do we like this palette? Do we not? I liked Alamar palettes. I really did. And that's why I was thinking about her as well. This one is so old. It's the volume 1. The shimmers in here are significantly better than the mattes, but the shimmers are also getting older. Feeling a little different, but I don't have anything like some of these. La Costa, I mean, this was my jam along with El Maquillon. Like, so yummy. 'Tis the reason to keep such a palette because they're so good. But as makeup has evolved and things have changed, I'm like, is it still like a top tier palette? Did I just do the same color twice? I think I did. Whoopsie daisy. Yeah, so different, so different. So the mattes are honestly just meh. Like if she would sell, does she sell just like a quad of just these shimmers? I would get rid of this older palette just for that quad. I remember trying it and thinking that the mattes were better than they used to be. So it's just kind of like, ooh, maybe a little dusty. Maybe a little unimpressive. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get serotonin when I get this. This is why I was coming up with this like term, the serotonin slaying, because this isn't giving me serotonin. And I think that's just the determining factor. Love my Tartist Pro palettes. Still, I think they're so good. This one is way more neutral, tons and tons of mattes. What happened to Tarte making fun stuff like this? Look at this. Look at this Pro Remix palette. Oh my gosh, you couldn't get me to shut up about this palette when I first got it. Tati Beauty palette, staying. Jaclyn Hill palette, staying. All right, you guys, I think now is just the time that we go through the things that we know are gonna be decluttering and the things that are on the bubble. So it means I'm gonna have to put some stuff back. Why do I keep taking all of my declutter portions down to the floor and on this chair? I don't know, but it just feels right, so we're doing it. This mess, mayhem, and foolishness is going to be the declutter section of what we're doing, at least today. That's not to say there's not going to be more declutters in 2024, because I guarantee it, there's going to be more. We have already gone through these in the beginning. Let's now see what we're adding to this declutter. Deja Brew. We wanted to love her, but unfortunately her formula just wasn't up to par. And we have this color story in a variety of other palettes. So she's gone. More than likely just gifted to a friend, but you know what I mean when I say gone. I'm starting easier on my little heart. And the Smashbox palette, while cute and dainty and having a variety in this small little baby, it's time for me to pass her on for similar reasons. The formula is actually better in this one than it is on the ColourPop. However, I have these shades. I don't reach for this, so I may as well gift this away as well. Now comes the ones that I'm less sure about, if I'm gonna be honest. Ooh, what do I do about her? This is like Destiny. What do I do with this? I feel like this packaging is what's pissing me off the most. We could have had a whole extra row here that really brought this whole palette together for some cohesiveness, and right now it just feels so disjointed. Where did I swatch those? Over here. The swatches have faded a bunch, but it's also because I've probably been touching and moving things. I just don't love this color story, so I think it's not giving dopamine. She's gone. The ones I'm unsure about right now are this palette, my older Element of Surprise palette, and the You Had Me at Hello. I hate when things are no longer purchasable because it makes it so much harder, because I'm like, I can't buy these again. You know what's hard is when you start to touch them. Let's touch them. Let's see. This is going to make it really hard or really easy. One of the two. The swatches are not as good as they used to be, not as juicy, not as pigmented, but they swatch well, dadgummit. But you're not reaching for it, but it does pass the serotonin test. Ugh. The serotonin test is really what I'm going off of today, so let's, ooh, this one doesn't feel so hot. Maybe I challenge myself to use these this week. I'm just feeling the things. I'm just gonna sit here and just mull this over because I need to make a decision. It's ridiculous that I can't make a decision. Ooh, some of these shades are talking to me, but I don't reach for them. Do I hold on for one more day or do I just let it go? I feel like I'm in my song era of figuring this out in this part of my video. Hold on for one more day. I'll be honest, I'm literally sitting here swatching my life away, and these are just with the ColourPop palettes. That's all they are. I don't even use a lot of burgundies and reds. Why is this so hard for me? This is just a gorgeous combination of so many things here, and they're swatching pretty well. There are a few that are not swatching as well in the palettes, for some reason this one here is not swatching as great, but if you build it, it does okay. But then there's other shades in here that I'm like, how did I ever forget about this gorgeous, yummy looking pigmented shade? Am I gonna have regrets? You know what I mean? We're not about the regrets with our serotonin. Look, all right. I need to use you. Here's the thing. If I'm going to keep you, I have to use you. What happened to that one? I'm getting very serious right now. I am going to look like a freaking zebra. What do I do? Makeup gods, what do I do? I've only been touching ColourPop too, so maybe that just tells me where my heart lies. Come in here. I think what I'm going to do is, if anything, I'm more than likely, I feel like I'm taking this too personally and I need to let it go. ColourPop is just swatching too well to let go of. That's just honestly where my head is at with all of these yummy swatches that I literally have all over me. They're just too yummy. So for now, these are gonna stay, but caveat, if I do not use them by, what is this? This is January. By April, more consistently, I have to let them go. Because if they don't start performing, if they don't perform on the eyes, I need to know that. So I'm just going to put them on top of my desk versus back in a drawer so I can use them this week. This one is also swatching really well. So I'm going to allow myself a bit more time with this because I think I've only used this once or twice. So I feel like it's a little unfair for me to declutter it without just for the sake of decluttering, because sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. There's definitely going to be more declutters coming, you guys, because as you can see, I'm on the bubble about some stuff. I need to give some things more tries because I did a deep declutter last year. So it's like these are the things that were like on the bubble anyway, so now we need to really suss through it. For the moment, these are going to be the palettes that I am for sure decluttering. They have all had their moment in the sun, some more than others. Like, oh my goodness. Saying goodbye to you is a little hard, but it needs to happen. Also, this one, it's been really hard, but as we can see, I've done a lot of work today. Done a lot of swatching, and right now these are just not giving the serotonin boost that I need. A lot of these are going to be gifted to friends that are still in great condition. They just don't work for me. Other ones that are super old are just going to get pitched. But this has been really helpful to kind of get back into these drawers, deep in the weeds on it, and figure out what can stay, what is going to be on the bubble that I need to try over this next like few months, and which products that I love that I'm gonna definitely use up more. But this has been super helpful. Friends, there are definitely going to be more declutters to come because after I did all of my declutters last year, it really gave me a sense of what was in the middle for me and what I loved, but then I got even more makeup. So now we need to go back through these drawers, figure out what is working, what is not working, what am I just not using, what doesn't work with my skin tone, and we're gonna go from there. Thank you guys so much for watching, hanging out with me, getting that boost of serotonin today. I hope you guys take a quick moment to hit that subscribe button. Definitely follow me on my new Instagram account so you don't miss out on all of the fun things in between, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends!